After a historic day last time out at Silverstone for the 1UP Superstar Series, we are back stateside for quite possibly the ultimate challenge of man and machine here at Talladega Superspeedway. This behemoth of a superspeedway, 2.66 miles of high-banked, high-speed racing action for all 42 of our drivers, and the threat of the big one lurking around every single corner. You never know what to expect when you arrive at Talladega. And alongside me to bring you the action, once again, is James Ellison with me in the booth. And for this race, well, take any driver in the field. They can win this race. It's plenty of fun in store at Talladega because you just never know who's going to be up front and by how much.
Oh, absolutely. If there's anything that has been proven by past races here and at other restrictor plate tracks, we never know what's going to happen. The Daytona 500 was certainly quite the excitement and mystery, and produced what some would consider a surprise winner. But I think it was just somebody who was getting there. But it took a lot of what happened in a whole different animal as that Daytona is to get it done. I'm hopeful for something similar, though hopefully less chaotic today.
Absolutely, because you never know when chaos will ensue at Talladega, because like I said, every turn around this racetrack, the threat of the big one is always looming large, and it can strike at anyone in the field at any given moment. As we can now bring you the starting lineup for today's 57-lap race, Jeffrey Finguy gets his second pole of 24, I should say. My mind. And Emma Kruger lines up alongside him in the 70. Chase Christ, the Daytona 500 pole sitter, is back. He starts third. Julio Cesar fourth, and Dylan Young completes the top five. We've got all three of the Finguy Saitomi cars in the top 10 and all on the inside line. If those three can find each other quickly, along with their Ford partner in Chase Christ, that group could be a very dangerous force when the race gets underway.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Finguy wants to get wins, and he wants to. Well, he just wants to win. He spent all of Silverstone chasing down the eventual race winner, and well, he wants to try to make up for that here. But in order to do that, he's got to survive the potential carnage, and he's got to, be first across the line when the checkered flag waves. Which, as I've said, it's not easy to do sometimes at these places.
So with that being said, we have all 42 cars ready to take to the track, and we are ready to bring you some racing action from Talladega. This is the 1UP Superstar Series, race number 7 of the season, and the green flag is coming momentarily, so stay tuned for that. Getting set for an intense 57 laps here at Talladega Superspeedway. Jeffrey Finguy, Emma Kruger on the front row, getting ready to get us underway. Into the tri-oval they go, heading towards the Geico restart zone. And the race at Talladega is underway. The field starts to take off. A.J. Jones starting to fan out a little further back, as is his teammate Chris Lattimore at the back of the pack. But it's Sam Donotto who's the first one to jump 3 wide as the field heads off into turn 1 for the first time.
It is no surprise that there's somebody trying 3 wide already, because you never know what's going to happen. As I see Finguy and Kruger are side by side still. This is, well, Kruger's starting to fall back a little bit, but you gotta see. We're seeing a little bit of scrambling toward the back there, because we've got some good names back there who are wanting to get up to the front quick.
And we've got those 4 Fords on the inside line: Finguy, Smith, Christ, and Young. But it looks like Dylan Young's been kicked up to the middle lane. Now it's only 3 Fords down there. Can they still work together to try and get past this 70 car? I believe they're able to do it just barely as the field barrels into the tri-oval to complete lap number 1.
And, well, so much for Ford alliances here, because...
There's still 2 teammates down there working together, Finguy and Patrick Smith.
Yeah, but it's hard to say how long that'll last, because we're already 3 wide, and that's got me a little nervous, because we've seen what can happen when 3 wide, especially when they get 4 wide, what can happen. So, hopefully the cooler heads will prevail in regards to competitiveness for a while.
Well, here at Talladega, you are able to run 4 wide and not have an issue most of the time. It's just a matter of staying away from each other when you do it. As Lane Sanders, the hometown driver, dives to the inside trying to get past Finn Guy and Patrick Smith. He's getting a push from Zachary DeLello, and Cale Teskar Jr. moved the 87 to the point as we complete lap number 2.
And Cale Teskar Jr., you mentioned. It's been a rough go of it as the owner driver of that car, and he's really like, I think he's going to enjoy being up here at the front for a little bit, and I think he'd love it even more to be continue to be clear like this, just in case something happens, as we are now 4 wide back here.
Yeah, Finn Guy, Kruger, J.D. Martin, Zachary Fitzwater, they are 4 wide back there. Looks like they're able to keep it calm for the most part. They have settled it back down now to 3 wide, which is manageable at this rate. Teskar, I saw, got moved up to the high side of the racetrack by Zayden Davidson, and behind him 2 of the Louisville teammates, Ortiz and Freeman, working together on the inside.
And then looking at my part-time rookie there, Rhodes Gray. He managed to make the field, and for the moment he's in the top 10, but Fitzwater's kicked him up the high side. Still plenty of opportunities. It's just a matter of what can happen here. We see rotations all the time, but some drivers get to stay up here at the front, like Lane Sanders is doing right now with DeLello behind him.
And they're 4 wide once again. This time it's Chase Christ on the outside trying to find a way back in line with Jeffrey Finn Guy. And now he's side by side with his teammate Dylan Young. If these two come together, that could be really dangerous as they barrel it off in the turn 3. They stay away from each other for the moment and we're able to stay under green.
Yeah, if those two were to correct, that'd be a real awkward team meeting come Monday, but they managed to settle it down for the moment, and that's relief as we see Austin Runkle, who started way in the back, making his way toward the front right now.
And not too many cars behind him is Liam Nolan in the 53. He started dead last, and he's already clawed his way up into the top 20. As we cycle our way back to the front of the field, Chase Chris started 3rd. He's dropping back a bit on that way outside line. See if he gets in the wall off of 2. He keeps off it. We stay green as Lane Sanders heads the field, which he has done since lap 2.
And he'd love to lead all the way until he has no choice but to pit, or something else happens, because he really would love to have an opportunity to join his teammate in having a victory this year. But a lot of work to do as we see Echo Evans-Ross coming into the picture.
Yeah, Evans-Ross dives to the inside of Nick Ortiz in the 91. That is the battle for 2nd place as the field almost 5 wide there for a moment, but they do settle it back down once again. We stay green through 6 laps. Lane Sanders has led all but the opening lap so far today. Now he has Echo Evans-Ross pushing him on the inside. Now they swoop up to cover off the middle lane. They're single file 4 cars deep with Evans-Ross, Ortiz, and Joshua Michaels, who started very deep in this field, making his way up. As we now have a pass for the lead in the making. Echo Evans-Ross with help from Joshua Michaels.
That's going to be a big help for Echo Evans-Ross. She can hang on and get this point, but it looks like Joshua Michaels is not going to give her that opportunity. He dives to the inside. He helped her just to help himself. That's the name of the game, especially when you get down to the last few laps, which, well, we're a long ways from that, but that doesn't mean you can't fight for something early, as it looks like Chris Lattimore's joined the party as well.
Yeah, and he's looking to join his teammate A.J. Jones as first-time winners this season, is Chris Lattimore, and he's had some great runs on the Superspeedways in years past. Could this be another one in the making for that 13 car? We'll find out at the end of 57 laps. We're only on lap 7 now, as longtime leader Lane Sanders has been kicked up to the top group. He's going to start to fall back, as now Liam Nolan from 42nd on the grid, now fighting for 2nd after just 7 laps.
I can already hear some people speculating Liam Nolan last the first challenge. Well, we're gonna have to wait a whole lot more laps, about 50 laps now actually, to see. But right now, he's looking to be last the first challenge to at least get a point for a lap led, but he's got to get by that very fast 6.
Yeah, and Joshua Michaels, after the controversy that erupted at Circuit of the Americas a few weeks ago, he definitely wants to get that first career win in the Superstar Series, and there's no better place for him to do it than right here at Talladega. But he's got to hold off 41 other drivers to make that happen. Everyone's still in the lead pack as we come down the back straightaway into turn 3 to complete lap number 8.
And here comes Keon Daly. He didn't start too bad, but he started 31st now that I look at my notes, but he's definitely looking for a good day. A lot of people are, actually, but there's only so many people that can have a good day, even if everybody finishes the race.
And he's another one looking for his first career win in the Superstar Series, as is Rasha Mahendra in the 42, in that light blue and black number 42 for Motor Dash Racing. That's Liam Nolan's teammate. They're now side by side for third. Nolan has the fastest lap so far, the 47.10. That will likely change throughout this race as drivers get runs on each other throughout this race. But it is Joshua Michaels that continues to lead, but for how much longer? Because here comes Patrick Smith in the 22.
Patrick Smith, he got Mahendra there. I see several heavy hitters that started further back coming into the picture. Mahendra going for the lead. Let's see what happened.
And with the entire field separated now by 1.5 seconds, this is very close racing throughout the entire field as Mahendra leads at the line for Motor Dash Racing. And this would be a big deal for him to get his first career win and the team's first in Superstar competition, as it looks like Joshua Michaels up into the wall a tiny bit through turn 2.
Up in the wall, and I thought for sure he and Nolan were going to make contact, but they settled it out, and good eye on Nolan. Liam Nolan to not turn in there into the field.
But now look who's made his way to the front of the field. It's two-time series champion Christian Vargas with push from Jake McMillan, last week's winner in that 21 machine. But now McMillan ducks to the inside on Vargas, trying to get the lead away. That's a close block.
Ooh. Very close block. And look who's following McMillan again for at least the moment. The guy who ended up finishing second to him at Silverstone, Jeffrey Finn guy. Olsen, today. He would love to finish a couple spots better than where he's at now, and definitely one spot better than he finished last week.
And he's getting a push from another Ford driver, Jeff Bolton. He won this race last year. It was his only win of 2023, and I'm sure he'd love to double up with a second victory at Talladega in 2024, but he's got to get past 3 of the best to do it in the 1UP Superstar Series to make that happen. He gets to the inside of Finn guy, and he's going to push McMillan to the lead.
Yeah, I'm sure he wants to lead a lap, but that's going to be a tough call when your closest drafting help is just a little bit further back than you'd like. But right now it looks like McMillan's going to get a chance to just... Okay, scoring's being... Okay, there we go. Vargas actually got that one. But he almost got it there with McMillan.
8 1/1000ths of a second separating those two at the start-finish line. That is impressive. As Keon Daly, McMillan's teammate, scrubs the wall off of turn 2. He's going to lose a lot of speed down the back straightaway. He might fall out of this lead draft. He very well could. He might even fall into the clutches of Ricky Freeman Jr., who's also lost the lead pack. If these two try and work together, they might be able to catch back up, but it'll be a daunting task to get there.
Yeah, but I believe as determined as RJ is, and as determined as Daly is, they could make it happen, although Freeman may not be really too interested in helping anybody at this point.
They are Honda drivers, the both of them, so they may need to work together, but Freeman doesn't really seem to want to make any friends today, but he is tucked in behind the 20. They're going to try and make some headway as the 20's teammate, McMillan, leads the race as we head down to complete 13 laps.
13 laps, and you saw there, Julio Cesar started 4th. He's back up in the mix again. I've said it before, and I'll probably sound like a broken record by the end of this race, but there's this shuffle that goes on. No matter how many cars are still in the race toward the end of it, there's still a chance at a shuffle, or somebody just you can't always guarantee that you're going to nominate a race, especially with the nature of this one.
No, you can't. And Julio Cesar becomes the second Spa car to lead today at Talladega. He leads the lap ahead of Ben McDonnell, who's now getting underneath him for the race lead, with push from Davidson. As you see Freeman and Daly going side by side, that's not going to help their cause. As we head down the back straightaway, Ben McDonnell out in the lead of this race. He slides up in front of the 00 of Julio Cesar. Chase Chris trying to fall in line there. And we got contact at the back, a spin. 2 cars around on the back straightaway. It's Cale Tesco Jr. and Zachary DeLello. Caution flies for the first time.
And that was a very close call for a couple of others there. I think it was that Fitzy and the one there, really close there. I know Rhodes Gray was right there and almost got in it, but that's a tough break for the two that got the worst of it.
So caution is out for the first time. A relatively minor incident on the back straightaway going in the 3. So the field will slow down as the pace car will pick them up on the back straightaway. You're right, Fitzwater and Gray were very lucky to avoid significant contact there, and even DeLello and Tescar, they've got only minor damage on their race cars, but I will say any damage at Talladega could be a big detriment.
And we saw it there. That's going to really help Keanu Daly and Ricky Freeman Jr. out, as they are going to, as we see, they're sorting out who was where, because there was a lot of 3 wide going on when that didn't happen.
So now, as the average speed hit 199 miles per hour, the field now slows behind the pace car. That average speed will drop quite significantly. We had every car on the lead lap at the time of the caution, so there will be no free pass as the field gets ready to head down pit road, I presume, for a first round of pit stops in this race.
And as we were watching, as that caution came out, and I couldn't help but notice, Devin Fair, our defending champion, and yep, they're going down pit road now. He snuck his way into the top 5, and Lane Sanders came back up in there as well. So, few people snuck in there while we were paying attention to what was going on at the back.
So yes, the entire field now hits pit road to take some tires and definitely some fuel, as we will, while the pit stops unfold in this under this caution period, we will get you a replay of what happens to Cale Tescar Jr. and Zachary DeLello to put us under caution for the first time today. It's the dreaded 4-wide situation we saw, and it looks like DeLello and Tescar just got too close to each other down the back straightaway. They wash up into Daniel Bouchard, who also gets a little bit of damage, and then Fitzwater actually gets turned by the 1, trying to avoid these two, and thankfully those two were able to avoid damage, and these guys only got minor impacts on their cars.
I'm not sure if Fitzy would see it that way, but I feel like the 1 actually saved Fitzy from having some damage there, because, I don't know, it's hard to tell, but just getting turned away from him might have actually just helped the 59.
Another look at this from the front of the field, and yeah, it's just a squeeze job gone wrong by DeLello and by Tescar. They go sliding, they got some damage on the right side of their cars. Looks like they are going to be able to continue in this race. The question is, will they be able to keep up with the lead pack for the rest of the day?
That's the big question, because it looks like minor damage, but sometimes minor damage here is all it takes to make it impossible for you to be able to keep up.
That can certainly be the case, as the field now gets back up to speed on pit road, and DeLello and Tescar catch up as the field now cycles under the caution flag, as it looks like, oh, we got a smoker on the apron, and it's Julio Caesar. The 00, who had led a lap earlier today, now going to be our first retiree from this race with a mechanical failure that is going to result in his first DNF of 2024.
That is unfortunate. And honestly, I feel for the Spa team on this one, because they were so set for this, because it's a home race for Lane Sanders, and his teammate gets to go home early. That's a really upsetting thing for them.
But Caesar will pick it back up and get ready for Hillside next week for another go at it. But he will be the first driver out of this race with a blown motor on lap number 16. And as he makes the shameful trip down pit road and into his pit, out of the race goes Julio Caesar for the first time this season. That's going to cause him to fall quite a ways in the points. He entered today top 5 in the points. So that's gonna take a big hit today, as the rest of the field, 41 cars still in this race. They're all on the lead lap, cycling through under the caution flag, and I don't believe we're done with pit stops for this race. They should not be able to make it from here.
Oh, I don't think they're going to make it at all. Whether it's a green flag stop or if we have another issue that brings out the caution, they're going to have to come down pit road later on and make sure they actually can make this race. And yeah, that's going to be real interesting to see the strategy if we go green flag racing the way.
So it's Ben McDonnell out in the lead of this race. Lane Sanders gained a few spots on pit road. He's now second. Zayden Davidson, he now holds the fastest lap of the race, and he currently runs third, ahead of teammate Devin Fair in fourth. J.D. Martin completes the top five, ahead of Sam Donotto sixth, Austin Runkle and Chase Chris, two teammates at Paladin Racing, seventh and eighth. Christian Vargas ninth, and Roberto Crown Jr. puts all three Paladin cars in the top 10, as well as all three Revolution Racing cars. So we got 6 cars in the top 10, fielded by just 2 teams. Will they work together to try and get to the front, as I think we're going to have 1 lap to go to the restart?
I would think that at this point, especially in the cases of, like, Lance Sanders, you work with who you can find. And right now, I think with 2 Revolution teammates right behind him, right now I think Lane's best friend, whether he wants to or not, is going to be that Dr. Pepper 12 of Ben McDonnell in front of him.
As we look at the pace car, the lights do go out, so we will be racing next time they cross the start-finish line. We'll get the restart on lap number 19. It'll be Ben McDonnell out in the lead of this race, with Lane Sanders second. We've already gone over the top 10. Duke Anzac runs just outside the top 10 in 11th, and he really needs a good points day after the 10-point penalty he received after Silverstone for the contact with Cale Tescar Jr. that ruined the Zeros day out in the UK. But he's just outside the top 10 now in 11th. I think he can make his way to the front, because remember, his teammate won the Daytona 500.
Yeah, and he's looking to get some success of his own, because it's great being the winning team owner, but it's even better when the car you're driving for your own team is the one in victory lane and you get to celebrate.
We're about half a lap from going green, and Ben McDonnell has led pretty much the entire way under caution. Lane Sanders led a good chunk of laps before that, but it's been a big shuffle, like you said, and that is going to be a big factor for the rest of this race. Whether you're in the right position at the right time when that white flag waves, that is going to be a big decision maker in this race, and we're going to find out who's going to win this race in about 40 laps time. But for now, we're focused on this restart, which can get quite hectic.
Yeah, and thankfully there's no lap down cars to mix things up even further, but that doesn't mean we are not going to see a little bit of early restart chaos, because everybody's going to be looking to... I would not be surprised if we're 3 wide within a few laps of the restart, honestly.
Nor would I. That's pretty much the name of the game here at Talladega. Pace car on pit road. Ben McDonnell and Lane Sanders lead us into the restart zone in the middle of the tri-oval. Remember, the start-finish line here is quite a ways past the tri-oval, which has led to some great finishes over the years. But into the restart zone they go. Davidson goes wide. Sanders tries to cover him off as we go back racing on lap number 19.
Davidson got a shot, but he has no help. And, well, he'll have some help here shortly. Maybe if Fair's willing to be a good teammate, as Sanders tries to go for the lead here. And it looks like he's going to get a little bit of an arrow push from the 51, but we'll see how that plays out.
I don't even think he needed the help on the restart, because Lane Sanders had the preferred line on the bottom, and he's going to take the lead back from Ben McDonnell, and he's going to get a little push from Devin Fair and J.D. Martin. Now Martin puts Fair in the middle lane, so it's the 66 that's going to try and help the 87 get back to the lead here at Talladega. And like you said, we're already 3 wide before we've even completed a lap after the restart.
Yeah, for a little bit there, it was Roberts Racing with 2 Revolution drivers 3 wide, and now here comes Chase Crisp right back into the mix.
Remember, Christ won the pole for the Daytona 500 earlier this year, as it looks like the cars involved in that first caution, they're not really able to keep up with the pack. They're able to keep up with each other. We've got a few stragglers back here as well. Emma Kruger, Zachary Fitzwater, and Rhodes Gray. We'll see if those 3 are able to work together at the back. But up at the front, it is Lane Sanders holding station at the front with Chase Christ and Ben McDonnell in hot pursuit.
And looks like Chris got a little bit of help there. Now he's to the inside. Brief help from Runkle, and now he's getting help from I think his other teammate there.
Yeah, Roberto Crown Jr. in the 55, trying to make a push towards the front, and now he's going to try and go underneath his teammate to take the lead himself, trying to lead for the first time this season. Is Roberto Crown Jr. at the start-finish line? He gets it by a nose.
And don't look now. We mentioned it. Duke Anzek. There he is. It's still early on, but he's in the fray once again.
Getting a push from the 84 of Ryan Soper, making his third start of the season. You got a lot of similar numbers right there. You got the 83, the 84, the 81 of Brian Caggiano, the 86 of Chrissy Spletzer. Where are the others in that group?
Yeah, I think they're elsewhere and mixing it up elsewhere.
And there's the 87 of Sanders up high. We got them all up here.
Yep, and this is looking pretty good so far. And I spy the Daytona 500 champion in the mix now as well. It took him a little while, but here he comes, getting into the fray here once again.
And Duke Anzak off of 4, and after the tri-oval leads that lap, gets a bonus point, and that is very important for him, considering the deficit he faced after that Silverstone penalty. But he's got Ryan Soper right behind him, and that is a driver who is insanely desperate for his first career win in the Superstar Series, or in any one-up competition for that matter.
Absolutely. It's one thing to be looking for a win in a series when you've won elsewhere, and that's something I personally know with a couple of truck wins. But when you've never won in one-up competition at all, that just drives you bonkers if you can't, after so long of not being able to accomplish it in any series.
Well, he's not going to get the lead here because Chrissy Spletzer is going to get the lead on the inside. Give the rookie from Genesis Engineering the lead for the first time today, getting a push from Miles Mashburn and Dylan Young in the 29 behind him. As we look a little further back, Echo Evans Ross gets a little wide up the racetrack. Going to try and file back in line. Everything holds steady. But Mahendra and Vargas racing very close together.
All right, guys. We know. We just ask Teskar what happened to him and a couple others when that happened. But they seem to be able to hold it together for the moment.
Yeah, and like you said at the time of the caution, someone who really benefited from it is that dark green car in the inside lane, the 96 of Ricky Freeman Jr., making his way for a push from Jeff Bolton. He's actually got a teammate ahead of him, Mark Davey. They're making their way to the front now after Freeman was stuck out of the draft before that yellow flag.
Back there. There's 4 wide back here again. Well, it's starting to smell out a little bit from what it looks like. Yeah, everything's good now, but for a little bit, I got a little bit worried as we see the trio of Kruger, Gray, and Fitzwater still working together, but not really making much headway.
And I wouldn't expect them to. 3 cars is not as fast as 35 cars in this lead group, and they all are in contention to win this race. Dylan Young now goes to the lead with a push from Bobo Jones. Now he gets stitched for Aaron Hall on the inside in the pink and blue number 07 machine. But it's Dylan Young who leads at the line. We're closing in on halfway very quickly.
Halfway, and intensity is going to pick up. For a little bit there, it looked like Jones was in what's infamously been known as the sucker hole in plate racing, but he has a little help now, but it's going to be all for nothing with everybody surrounding him. And it looks like Freeman Jr. is coming up here, going for his first shot at the lead today.
And you mentioned Bobo Jones. He's actually getting a push from his teammate in the 52, Stephen Gale. The 2 Venta Motorsport cars working together in the middle lane. But you're right, Ricky Freeman Jr. going for the lead at Talladega. But Jeff Bolton, he's going to try and get the lead for himself. But Freeman chops him off. They're getting really dicey through the tri-oval. It's the sketchiest part of the track right there, but Freeman does lead at the line.
Yeah, these guys keep doing this. As we see 4 wide again, a little bit of contact there in the middle. They keep doing this. I think Kruger, Gray, and Fitzwater are going to be happy that they're not up here.
That's certainly a benefit of being at the back of the field and out of the draft. But these guys, there are 35 cars in this lead pack, and they're all going for it here at Talladega Superspeedway. We're about 3 laps from halfway, and they're racing like there's only 3 laps to go in the race. But here comes Jeff Bolton to the inside of Ricky Freeman Jr. with a push from Nick Ortiz, now from Rashi Mahendra. Bolton trying to lead for the first time today. And remember, he did win this race 1 year ago.
He'd love to go back-to-back in this race. But he's got a lot of competition as they're going 4 wide for second here. Very briefly. Okay, maybe not so briefly, but still. And you got Lattimore coming back in the picture again. so many drivers here who don't always get such opportunities, and now race like this looks like a few people are almost brushing the wall.
I think Freeman actually did hit the wall because he's losing a lot of time down the back straightaway, and he's holding up about 10 more cars behind him at this rate.
Yeah, and that's going to break up the pack, and that's really going to mess things up for some of these people. And I guarantee quite a few of them are not happy with Freeman right now, even though it wasn't his fault.
But I think they're close enough to the lead group where if they get organized, they'll be able to chase them back down. So I don't think it's as big an issue as the trio of Fitzwater, Kruger, and Rhodes-Gray are in right now. But up at the front of the field, Chris Lattimore leads for the first time today with a push from J.D. Martin.
That's really good for him, and we've seen him have a lot of really good runs over the course of the last couple of years. The one I think about the most is Bristol late in the season, as you see J.D. Martin, Echo Evans Ross, they're both going for it, and Ross goes the deepest. Evans Ross goes the deepest here, but yeah, this is a great shot for Lattimore if he can hang on and get a good finish.
Side by side out of 4, Echo Evans Ross, Emma Kruger's teammate, J.D. Martin in the 66. They are side by side at the line, coming to complete lap 28. They're still in nose-to-nose coming across the line. Oh my goodness, look how close they were at the stripe. We can't even put a marker between them.
If that had been the finish, that would have been a tough one to call.
Well, according to the 1UP rulebook, should we get a tiebreaker, a tie for the race win, which I must reiterate has never happened before, but were it to happen, it would give the win to J.D. Martin on account of him having more career wins than Echo Evans Ross. But I would not put it past these guys to get a tie at the finish because these guys are racing very hard up at the front.
Yeah, and it's getting really interesting here, and let's see how this goes as Duke Anzac going inside his own teammate here, a little bit aggressive. And Evans Ross does get to lead that lap now.
By just a short margin over J.D. Martin, and she's getting a push from another Toyota, Rasha Mahendra, right behind her. And Lane Sanders has found his way back to the front in the 87. This is a race he really wants to win, and I would not be surprised if he's up there contending for it at the end of this race. And as you can see, that group that had been slowed down earlier in the run has now popped back up, and we're in one big pack once again.
With the exception of Rick Freeman Jr. and Dylan Young. Young's way out of the draft at the moment. Might end up catching up to the threes that have been just minding their own business back there, but Freeman, depending on if he got any significant damage from that wall contact, might be able to hang on.
As Lane Sanders gets past Mahendra to move up into the second position. And like I said, this is a race he really wants to win, not just because it's his home race, but because he has not won since the 2021 500. He really wants to win to A, make it into the All-Star race in a few weeks' time, and B, to establish himself as a winning driver once again. He wants that third career win bad, and here he comes underneath the 39.
And he's bringing Joshua Michaels, Devin Fair, Patrick Smith, Sam Norwood, a whole bunch of people back there who would love to just follow in line right behind him. But as we've seen, just because you get out there and get to second doesn't mean you're going to have a shot at the lead. Someone could push you out of the way before you get there.
Like Patrick Smith just did to Devin Fair, puts the 51 up into the middle lane. But it's Lane Sanders back in front of this race. He leads for the third time today, as we still have 33 cars still in this lead pack, and they are all contenders at this point. You just never know what's going to happen, as it looks like Echo Evans Ross slides up into the wall. That could slow down the back of the field a little bit as well.
Yeah, it looks like it has done that. It indeed done that. Not okay. Looks like a little bit worse than what happened when Freeman did it, but.
And speaking of Freeman, there he is, a victim of this one as well.
Ironic that he would be a victim of something that he unintentionally did earlier, but we saw it happen before, and they were able to catch back up. We'll see if that can happen. They've got a bigger gap to make up here.
But if they stay organized, it's not impossible to make up. But look at, so you've got the Kruger, Fitzwater, Gray trio catching up, and Dylan Young behind them. So you just never know what happens in Superspeedway racing. But we got about 25 cars still in this lead pack that can all win this race. Lane Sanders, though, proving to be hard to beat. He's led most of the race so far.
And looking at that Kruger Gray Fitzwater trio, doesn't matter what order you put them in. I think they have caught the cars that got slowed down by Evans Ross going into the fence.
Yeah, and that can only help them being in a bigger pack. It'll let them make bigger moves, gain a few more positions maybe on the racetrack, but it's going to be a long way for them to catch Lane Sanders as we approach now 20. We're closing in on 20 to go, and I would expect green flag pit stops in about maybe 6 to 8 laps.
Depending on how things play out here, because they are fighting pretty aggressively, or they have been. The top 5 seems to have spread out a little, although that's changing here momentarily as we got. Oh, I thought we had a battle for the lead. Okay, maybe we do.
The 86, Chrissy Spletzer diving to the inside, looking for the lead once again, with push from Ben McDonald and a little bit of help further back by Chase Christ. Chris now dives to the inside of McDonald, trying to make a move, nothing doing there, but it's going to be 2 Dodges heading the field, the 86 and 87 at the stripe. It's going to be Spletzer by a nose.
Yeah, and that's going to be big to see right here, because Dodge is pretty was pretty outnumbered for a long time until we got some new manufacturers in here, but they've still been pretty feisty in the battles for the win here every now and then.
And they have a win this season, courtesy of Julio Cesar at Auto Club. So they're capable of winning races, and Lane Sanders is going to try and give them another one here today. But currently, it's Ben McDonald and the Dr. Pepper Chevrolet out in the lead of this race with a push from his teammate Stephen Gale in the 52. Now they go side by side for the lead.
Now let's see. Stephen Gale looks like he might get a point for the lead here. Oh, that was so close, but he didn't quite get there.
That would have been the closest finish in one-up history had that played out at the checkered flag. But we still have 22 laps to go. So Stephen Gale's got a little more work to do, but he does clear his teammate now for the race lead. He's got a lot of fast cars behind him, though. Can he hold on?
And you were talking about the Kruger Gray Fitzwater trio. Now that they have some more cars to work with, shuffling around. Pretty sure I saw the one shuffling in the mix with a few of those that got slowed up. So if they can keep from getting too out of hand here, they might be able to get back up here in the mix.
As Devin Fair makes a move to the inside of Stephen Gale for the lead of this race. I believe Devin Fair won the fall race here a season ago, so he knows how to win it. He is fairly confident in his Superspeedway abilities. I would not be surprised if this was the car that wins this race. But we still got 21 to go. A lot can still happen between now and the checkered flag.
Yeah, I know. Last both Talladega races last year are ones that several competitors, both still in the field and have either dropped down or retired, would like to forget, because we saw a lot of stuff happen in both of those events.
But as you were talking about, these guys are catching up to the field. Rhodes Gray in that one car making some headway. He's got past Nolan, he's gotten past Aaron Hall and Chris Lattimore. Now he's working on Jeff Bolton while he's pushing that 70 car, who he's been working with all day long. But up at the front of the field, Roberto Crown Jr. with a push from Ryan Soper going for the lead on Devin Fair.
Yeah, and I got to admit, it's still a little odd seeing him in a different number, but different number and different manufacturer does not mean different driver. He is still just as determined as ever to get. I mean, he got his first win last year, but he's looking for that second one. I mean, or the next one. We know it's coming.
Indeed, we have a feeling it will be coming for Roberto Crown Jr. It's just a matter of, will it come today or will it have to wait until another week? But Crown has the lead of this race right now, as it looks like we got a little bit of pack separation once again. We got about 8 or 9 cars who have lost touch with the lead group now, and that's the reason why Emma Kruger first of the lead pack to hit pit road.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, if that's planned or...
That is scheduled. That is a scheduled pit stop for the 70.
All right, now it's just that little pack back there mixing up, but if the pit stops are going to start cycling, a lot of this mixing up's not going to matter much here in a few minutes.
Well, let's see if anyone else hits pit road this time. We got some takers here. Yes, Keon Daly and Patrick Smith are the next ones to hit pit road. We see a few others behind them. Aaron Hall, Ricky Freeman Jr., Bobo Jones hit the pit lane next.
All right, so we got some early takers,
and look at, I hate to interrupt, but look at that margin at the front. We got another tie for the lead, and we weren't even looking at it. Roberto Crown Jr. noses out Devin Fair, although Fair would have gotten that tiebreaker if that had been the finish of the race. The top three separated by 6 1/1000ths of a second. That is what we love to see at Talladega.
And it looks like another pack separation as pit cycle continues to work its way through, and now those that got slowed up by Kruger going to pit road on her own are going to be catching up to the rest of most of the rest of the field as we see more takers coming on pit road now.
Yep, there's Ryan Soper, Chase Christ, McDonald, Anzac, Martin, Jones, and a whole host of others make their way down pit road. All of the Team Duke cars pit this time, and a handful of others as well. You see Rhodes Gray there, Zachary Fitzwater, Zayden Davidson. They're all in the pit lane. Cale Tescar Jr. pitted a lap earlier, all by himself. But that cycles the lead out to Sam Donotto in the 77. He is your leader now as we watch the pit cycle unfold. Fantastic stuff here at Talladega. And looks like Patrick Smith's going to hold up the front runners a little bit. He just came out of the pits. Donotto is going to have a clear track in front of him, but I have a feeling he's going to head the pit lane. And when you got contact between Mashburn and Davey, that was very close between the 97 and the 72 there.
That was almost a scrambled Zaxby's meal for Mashburn. But, yeah, we got all these drivers that haven't pit yet coming on pit road. I'm very curious as to how this is going to cycle out with all these varying strategies.
But that cycles the lead now to Rasha Mahendra in the 42. He is now your leader over Joshua Michaels. Only 5 cars have yet to pit. Mahendra, Michaels, Devin Fair, Jeff Bolton, Jeffrey Finguy as they make their way down the back straightaway. I imagine those guys will be making their way to pit road shortly.
And then we'll have to see who can get together and race for this one. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. It's now Mahendra and Fair, Michaels, and I would assume Bolton, Finguy will be following suit.
Well, Jeff Bolton stays on the racetrack. He's going to go another lap, and we're looking for Finguy. There he is. He's out of gas on the apron.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to be good for him because you run out of gas at this track, and you're already going to be pitting practically by yourself. You are in some serious trouble when you run out of gas at this place. Thankfully,
he ran out of gas in 3 and 4, so he is able to coast it on the pit road and stay in the race. But that is still going to be a big detriment. Now the question is, can Jeff Bolton make the fuel last for another lap?
Yeah, he's going to try as he goes inside Aaron Hall. I would hope that he makes the choice to dip the pit road this time. Hard telling. I don't see a signal yet, and here he comes.
So that should complete the cycle of green flag pit stops. Jeff Bolton's the last car to pit, and that would, I believe, that would cycle the lead out to being Sam Donotto, I believe, in the 77, and Roberto Crown Jr. They're going to be the ones fighting for it at the front of the pack, because there they go past Michaels, Fair, and Mahendra. And we got a couple packs now, and if they all close up into one, this could be a real fun battle for the win.
And with them all scattered like this, a few of the stragglers that are close to proximity might be able to drag together to catch back up before it becomes a big pack. We'll just have to wait and see.
As Crown makes the pass on Mahendra and Donotto, he's going to get the lead of this race. But you don't want too big a lead here, or else the rest of the cars will just devour you down the straightaway. So, Crown's got the lead, but for how much longer?
Yeah, that's a big question to ask, and I know Crown doesn't want to know the answer to that one.
Well, technically, Bolton was the leader. He had crossed the finish line coming off a pit road, but they do pass him now. So the lead cycles back to Roberto Crown Jr. The problem is he's got a lot of cars in 3 different packs chasing him down.
Yeah, that's gonna be real interesting to see if these can all come back together here. These guys are shaking it up just a little bit, and I think the packs behind them are just a little bit bigger, especially if they can combine. But I don't know. Fair's making a move here, and I think he's dragging some of the others behind him with him. So things will get really mixed up here shortly.
At the stripe between Crown and Denoto, 9/1000ths of a second. I can count now at least 5 different occasions we've had a margin at the line under a 1/100th of a second. These guys are ravenous at the front of the field, and we should expect that for the remaining 13 laps of this race, because this race is far from over.
Yeah, if we get a little bit bigger pack, that opens up opportunities for issues, which we are closing in on the point of no return. I'd say just a handful more laps. And if a caution comes out, whoever's in the lead, this race is theirs as long as they can make it back. But right now, there's a lot of mixing up going on here, as it looks like William Brock making a move for the first time today.
Well, I wouldn't say we're at the point of no return yet. There's still 12 laps to go at this point. But you're right about one thing. William Brock takes the lead for the first time today, and that is a team that really needs a good points day. They are mired deep in the points. Him and that entire Genesis Engineering team, they need a good day, and wouldn't it be something if William Brock got his second career win right here?
That would definitely be something. We've seen what happened to get his first win. Now it's a matter of what will he have to do. As well, right now he's going to have to try to fight up Duke Anzac, and that's not going to happen easy. So, but he's still got a little bit of time. So we'll have to see what happens as Anzac goes to the point.
We got 16 cars in this lead pack, and a whole nother pack behind them closing in fast. But it's Emma Kruger inside of Duke Anzac for the race lead. We'll see what it gets to be right here at the stripe. 2/100ths of a second, 3/100ths between Kruger and Anzac, and they're 4 wide for second. Here comes AJ Jones. He won the Daytona 500, so he knows how to win at the Superspeedways.
Yeah, but he had a bit of a smaller pack to do it in last time out, but that doesn't mean he won't be able to do it this time. We'll just have to watch, and there he goes with a little bit of a boost from Fair. Now he's not getting a whole lot of help, but he got something here, and he's side by side and looking for that second career win.
His second win of the season for AJ Jones. He hasn't had a top 10 finish since that Daytona 500 win, so he's looking for a little bit of consistency this year, hoping to get it here. As we cross the line at this time around, we have 10 laps to go from Talladega.
And another close margin of victory if that had been the last lap.
Oh my goodness, it would have been 5/1000ths. That would have tied our closest finish ever from 2021. But it is AJ Jones in the lead of this race. But Emma Kruger, though, she's starting to pull ahead of the 31 down the back. She's got more cars behind her, and they're still going to be side by side going into 3. None of these cars are out of this race yet.
And you got Raja Mahendra there. He'd love nothing more than to get the 31 out of the way and punt him to the high side with, well, I've mentioned it before, you sometimes get up there to second or third and you don't get the chance to boot the leader out of the way. You get booted out of the way instead. We'll see Brock coming back up here once again.
Yeah, that does open the door for William Brock to make another stab at it, and he's got help from Ryan Soper, who's been up at the front all day long. Great run for a team making just their 3rd start of 2024. But we're into the final 10 laps now, and they're coming up to lap a car in the next few laps or so. James Silverfox in the 9, and I would expect when they catch him, he's not a slow car. He just got cycled out by the pit stop, so he should be able to assimilate into that lead pack once they catch him.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of how they handle catching him and how well he integrates into the pack, and what will happen with these guys behind him if he's causing them to scramble even just a little bit, and that could be all that second pack needs.
But man, you can't say enough about the D4 Motorsports effort for Ryan Soper today. Started this race in the top 15. Actually, he started 23rd in this race. I misread my notes, but still, for making this race, that's a good effort for that 84 team. They've had their tough luck this season. This is their 3rd start of the year. And even though he gets shuffled to the high side now by Patrick Smith, still a very strong run. I would not be disappointed by that.
And don't look now. I don't think they need to catch Silverfox. That second pack is caught up, starting to catch up piece by piece here.
Yeah, Chrissy Spletzer led that lead pack, and now they are caught back up to the lead. So we got now 30 cars under a blanket for the win at Talladega as we enter the final 7 laps.
And this is going to be interesting, folks, because now that these guys and gals have all started catching up back together, as we look at a small train way back there that's just hoping something happens to give them a good result. But
yeah, Ryan Caggiano's back there. You got Rhodes Gray, who's still biding his time. You have Zayden Davidson, who was running back there. I couldn't see who the other car was. But here they come, coming up to lap James Silverfox, with Lane Sanders now back to the lead as we come to 6 to go.
And Silverfox did kind of the sensible thing, even though it didn't really matter with Kruger moving the 87 out of the way, and he got out of the way for his fellow Dodge driver. But now this big old pack right here, let's see what this brings.
Next up for them to lap is Echo Evans-Ross in the 39. That is a teammate to the current race leader, Emma Kruger, in the 70. I don't think Evans-Ross is going to be much of a help to Emma Kruger, considering they've got similar cars, but you never know at Talladega, and right now, Kruger's got to hang on for about 5 or 6 more laps, but there's a lot of hungry drivers back there waiting to strike.
Yeah, you got McDonald, Keon Daly. It looks like Spletzer's gotten up in there now after leading that second pack. They're all shuffled back up in here now. This is going to get really exciting, I believe.
And look who's back in the mix, Chase Chris, the 500 pole sitter, trying to make some noise in the 4th position. He's just biding his time now at the back of the field as we now have 5 laps to go from Talladega.
5 laps to go, and honestly, I feel like now we're getting to that point of no return, so
I would say
it's go time.
Yep, and here they come to lap Echo Evans-Ross. Kruger gets to the inside of her teammate. Evans-Ross makes way. She's going to lead that outside line now with Keon Daly pushing her. But now Chris moves up to 3rd place. Could he be in the catbird seat to get his first career win?
Uh-oh, they are 4 wide back there between Crown and Mahindra and a couple others. But right now, Kruger, I'd say she might want to be careful with that big a lead.
Although she might be okay for a little while because Christ and McDonald are now side by side. No longer. Chase Christ is up to 2nd place with 4 to go. Could he be in the catbird seat? I keep saying it, but could he be in position to get his first career win here at Talladega? He's got Vargas pushing him. He's going to the inside. He's going to try and make a run at the lead.
He'll try to make a run at the lead, but I doubt Vargas is going to be content to stick behind him. He don't care if Chris is going for his first career victory. He wants that next one of his own.
And sure enough, Vargas ducks to the inside, and he's got a push from Mark Davey and Jake McMillan, last week's winner. They're coming to 3 laps to go, and we got a lot of cars still in the mix for victory. Vargas at the stripe.
Yeah, but here comes McMillan inside of Davey. He wants to go back-to-back victories this season, and I don't blame him.
No, he's had a rough start to 2024. He fixed it with a win at Silverstone, but now he wants a win at Talladega to go with it. Down the backstretch they go. They're coming up now to lap Jeffrey Finn guy. That could be a factor in the closing stages. But now it's 2 Revolution Racing teammates at the front of the field. Vargas and Fair, 1-2 as we come to 2 to go.
And here comes Lattimore and Runkle again. Lattimore, we've seen him have a shot at this. Could he be one of those who pulls off a last lap Hail Mary and steals this one from the big dogs?
And Fair makes a move on his teammate. They do not play nice at Revolution Racing. Fair takes the lead with 2 to go, and now Lattimore pushes him past the 2-time champion.
And here goes Leah Nolan. He's been picking up there. He is in good position that if he could do it, I could be right in my guess at a possible last to first challenge, but he's got a lot of hunger drivers, including last year's spring.
That would be Jeff Bolton trying to get his second win in a row in this race. But it's Devin Fair leading the way, coming to the white flag of this race. And Lattimore is in this catbird seat now. He's in the stealing spot as the bell lap comes by. 1 lap to go this time for Devin Fair. Can he hold on for 2.5 more miles?
2.5 more miles and a lot of unknowns as now Lattimore gets shuffled out of the way for Liam Nolan. Yep, it's looking pretty good for Fair at the moment, but and we've even got Fitzy and Duke Anzac coming in the mix. It ain't over.
Zachary Fitzwater, he was at the back all day with that trio of cars that was well out of the draft. He's in the mix for the victory as we head down the back straightaway for the final time.
And he has expressed his displeasure at these kind of races, but here he is in a position to at least get a top 5 in one. Devin Fair, though, it's his race to lose as we come to the checkered flag.
Bolton's the only one who can make a run at it now. He dives to the inside, but Fair cuts him off. Through the trial will they come, and Devin Fair gets his second win in a row at Talladega, his 7th career win in the 1UP Superstar Series. Ties in with Jake McMillan on the all-time win list, and that is a great performance from Devin Fair. Gets his first win of the year, the 7th of his career. Great stuff from the defending champion. Jeff Bolton, he won this race a year ago. He'll settle for second today. That's his best finish of the year so far. Zachary Fitzwater, we talked about him. He was running last all day. Comes through at the end to get third place. That's a great day for that Fitzwater team. Liam Nolan ties his career best result in 4th ahead of Sam Donato 5th. Ryan Soper was up at the front all day long, and he is rewarded with a career best finish of his own in 6th place. Chris Lattimore faded to 7th at the end. Still a great run for the 13 group. Lane Sanders fell to 8th. Still a solid day at his home race. Duke Anzac gets a much-needed top 10 run in 9th, and Roberto Cron Jr. completes the top 10. We have had a fantastic race at Talladega. Half the field or more led this race. We had 23 leaders today. That is just the stuff of legends here at Talladega.
That is truly incredible, and we did not have a big one. That is something I avoided saying something about it the whole race as much as I could because I did not want to play the commentator's curse on it. That was a big thing right there, to not have a big wreck, take out a bunch of cars. We had competition throughout the whole race, and just to put the team order hat on for a second, I get to take a car home to the shop without any damage. So I'm happy there. I'm happy with what I got to see, what you and I got to see here. Congrats to Devin Fair, and congrats to those who got what would be either their best career finish or their best finish of the season here today.
And you're right, we only had one caution today, and it was for a relatively minor incident, so great car control from everybody here at Talladega. We're looking forward to the next race as much as you are. So, from James Ellison and from myself as well, we say goodbye from the world's fastest superspeedway, Talladega. We'll see you again next week for a superstar race at Hillside, another one of 1UP's great racing venues, the high-banked 1 mile oval that's sure to provide some great racing action. A lot can happen out there. We're looking forward to that as well. But so long from Talladega. Congrats to Devin Fair. His title defense starting off pretty good. Gets his first win of 2024.